My name is Ruth J. Mallett, and I am 32 years old. I'm a creature of habit and quiet. My life is an ordered system of spreadsheets at my data analytics job, carefully curated playlists for my commute, and a home environment I've calibrated for maximum calm. My apartment isn't just a place I live, it's my sanctuary, the controlled environment where the variables of the outside world are silenced. I was here for 2 years before my boyfriend Aaron, 30, moved in a year and a half ago, and for a while it worked. His chaotic energy as a freelance event planner was a vibrant color splashed across my monochrome canvas. But slowly, imperceptibly at first, the splash became a spill. It started small. His friends staying over without a heads up, leaving behind glitter and wine glasses like a signature, his habit of borrowing my noise-canceling headphones for his calls and returning them with the battery, dead right when I needed them most. Each instance was a tiny erosion of a boundary I never thought I'd have to explicitly state. I'd bring it up gently, and he'd laugh it off, calling me his adorably grumpy old woman before kissing me, effectively ending the conversation without resolution. The frog in slowly boiling water. That was me. Aaron's female best friend, Juliana, was the embodiment of that boundary dissolution. She was perpetually between gigs, a musician who viewed our apartment as her personal crash pad, kitchen, and lounge. Her presence meant my preferred quiet evening of reading was replaced by her strumming an off-key guitar on my couch and helping herself to the craft beer I'd been saving for the weekend. I tolerated her for Aaron's sake, but my tolerance was a finite resource, and the data showed it was trending toward zero. The final crack came via text message on a Wednesday afternoon. I was deep in a complex data model, finally in that flow state where the world fades away and it's just me and the pattern. My phone buzzed. Aaron. Hey, babe. Juliana's gig got canceled last minute, and her flight back home isn't for another few days. She's going to crash with us. Is it cool if she takes your side of the bed? I just know you hate being woken up and she moves around a lot, so it's easier if I'm on the outside. She'll be there when you get home. I read it once, then twice. My side of the bed, not the couch, which she had used dozens of times, not an air mattress. My side of the bed, the place where I slept, recharged, existed in my most vulnerable state. It wasn't a question. It was a notification. A decision had been made about my body and my space without my input, and the solution involved erasing me from my own bed. The casual smiley face felt like a cheerful garnish on a dish of profound disrespect. A strange calm washed over me. Not anger, not yet. The cold click of a switch flipping in my brain. The emotional noise vanished, replaced by crystalline logic. The data was in. The model was complete. This wasn't a partnership anymore. I was a resource. My home was a hotel. My bed was a spare cot. I stared at the screen for a full minute. Then I typed my reply. Right. I put my phone on silent, face down on my desk. I didn't search for couples counseling or articles about boundaries. I opened a new tab and searched for month-to-month furnished studio apartments. Immediate availability. No long-term commitment. Far enough away that it felt like a clean break. By the time I left work, I had digitally signed a lease on a small, clean studio across town. It was an overpayment, a ridiculous expense on my budget, but the month-to-month terms were perfect. It was an escape pod. I didn't go home. I went to the new studio. The key was in a lockbox. I walked in. It smelled like fresh paint and disinfectant. It was sterile, empty, and blessedly mine. I spent the next 2 hours in clinical focus. I drove back to my apartment. Aaron's car was there, and so was Juliana's beat-up hatchback. Perfect. They were settled in. I slipped inside quietly and went straight to my home office. I packed my work laptop, my backup hard drives, my passport, and essential documents into my bag. I grabbed a duffel and filled it with a week of clothes, toiletries, and charging cables. I took one last look around at my handcrafted oak bookshelf, the piece I'd spent months designing and building, a physical manifestation of order and craft. I felt a pang, then I left, locking the door behind me. Back at the studio, I sat on the unfamiliar mattress and wrote an email to Aaron. I deal in facts and figures. The situation had become emotional and chaotic, so my response had to be the opposite, a clear, undeniable business proposition. Subject: offer to sublease. our apartment address. Aaron, per your text today, it's clear our housing needs have diverged. I have secured alternative temporary accommodation for myself, effective immediately. This email serves as a formal offer for you to sublease the entire apartment for the remainder of my lease term. As you know, the lease is solely in my name. The terms are as follows. Monthly rent, $2,150, which reflects current fair market rate for comparable units in our building. Security deposit, $2,750, due prior to signing. Utilities must be transferred into your name within 5 business days of signing. As primary leaseholder, I will continue remitting payment to management funded by your payment to me. Please confirm acceptance by Friday at 5 p.m. If you decline, you and any guests must vacate within 15 days, so I can make other arrangements. I hit send. My hands were steady. I turned my phone off and went to sleep in a strange bed in a strange room. And for the first time in months, I wasn't worried about being woken up. The silence lasted 17 hours, a blissful, uninterrupted stretch of quiet I hadn't realized I was craving. I woke up in the studio, made a cup of instant coffee, and worked remotely with a focus I hadn't felt in months. Around lunchtime, I turned my phone back on. It was like setting off a digital car alarm. Notifications cascaded down the screen. 23 missed calls from Aaron, 8 from Juliana, 4 from Aaron's mother. The texts scrolled in real time, each one a marker of dawning horror. Where are you? Juliana and I ordered pizza. Not funny. I saw your email. Is this a joke? 2,850. Are you insane? And you're trying to profit off me. Pick up. You can't just kick me out. I have rights. My mom is calling you. The velocity of entitlement was breathtaking. I let the phone ring once more and then answered, put it on speaker, and set it on the counter. Finally, Aaron shrieked, skipping hello entirely. What is wrong with you? You sent me a landlord email. What is this, Ruth? It's exactly what it says, I replied evenly. It's a formal offer. An offer, he snapped. It's an eviction notice, and you're scamming me on the rent. We pay $2,100. I pay $2,100, I said. That's a preferential rate I receive for signing a 2-year lease and having excellent rental history. The market rate for a sublease is $2,850. I checked. It's not personal, it's the market. There was a pause, the sound of gears grinding. But I'm your boyfriend, he said. You can't charge me market rate. The terms of our relationship appear to be under review, I said. You made it clear my presence in my own bed was negotiable. I've made our living arrangements negotiable. You have until Friday at 5. This is about Juliana, he accused. You're insecure. She's my best friend. It was just a few nights. It was about being notified that I no longer had a claim to my own side of the bed, I said. It was the final data point in a long trend line. The decision is made. The phone shifted, and Juliana's voice cut in, pitched with performative concern. Ruth, for real, this is messed up. You're going to make him homeless over a misunderstanding. Hello, Juliana, I said, lowering my voice a notch. Are you offering to co-sign the sublease with your stable income, or are you enjoying the free accommodation while it lasts? Silence. Then Aaron again, sobbing now, the apology of someone caught, not someone changed. Please come home. I'm sorry. Juliana can sleep on the couch. We'll talk. The offer stands, I said. I won't be coming home. Decide by the deadline. I hung up. I called the building's property management office and confirmed the process. Sole leaseholder rights. Credit and background checks for any subletter. Current market rate. Everything matched. The narrative shifted that evening. A mutual friend texted asking if I was okay, saying Aaron was worried I was having a mental health crisis. I replied once, factual and calm, and stopped engaging. The next morning, an email from his mother arrived, dripping with passive concern about my cold corporate language. I didn't reply. Friday arrived. At 4:58, an email came through. Subject line misspelled, tone resentful. He accepted the sublease. He insisted it didn't mean we were broken up. He said his mom would front the deposit. I forwarded him the building's official application forms, proof of income, credit check authorization, references. The next phase was no longer emotional. It was procedural. The first sign of trouble arrived 3 days after Aaron accepted the sublease. Instead of a completed application, I received a text that said everything about how he saw rules. "This is ridiculous," he wrote. "You know my income, and a credit check. I'm your boyfriend, not a stranger. Just tell management I'm approved. You can vouch for me." The assumption that I would, or even could, bypass a formal process because of our relationship was staggering. He didn't see policies as requirements. He saw them as inconveniences meant for other people. I replied once, "This is standard procedure for any subletter. It's not my rule. I can't vouch for you. The deadline to submit the completed application to management is Friday at 5. His response was a string of angry emojis that translated to refusal without saying it out loud. Meanwhile, Juliana was still there. I knew because Mr. Henderson, the older neighbor down the hall who always waved when we passed, texted me about loud music past 11. He apologized for bothering me. I thanked him and told him to file formal complaints with management going forward. Documentation matters when people test your resolve. And they always do. Then came the text that erased the last soft edge of sentimentality I had left. "OMG, I'm so sorry," Aaron wrote late Wednesday night. "I was watering the new fiddle leaf fig Juliana brought as a housewarming gift, and I tripped. Some water spilled on your big wooden bookshelf. I wiped it up right away. It should be fine." A housewarming gift. For a home he was being asked to pay market rent to occupy. My stomach went cold. That bookshelf was my proudest creation, a custom-built oak piece I'd designed and finished by hand. This wasn't an accident. It was a message. I asked for photos immediately. The ones he sent were blurry, but the damage was unmistakable. A cloudy ring blooming on the second shelf where oil met water and lost. I felt anger, yes, but it was clean and useful. I shifted fully into protection mode. I sent 2 emails. One to management confirming receipt of a noise complaint and asking them to proceed per policy. The second to Aaron. Subject: urgent lease compliance and property damage. I attached the building rules with noise and damage sections highlighted. I requested high-resolution photos of the affected area and stated plainly that the security deposit would be applied to cleaning and repair, with small claims follow-up if costs exceeded the deposit. I ended with the deadline again. Your continued occupancy is contingent on approval. If management does not receive your completed application by Friday at 5, I will rescind the offer and begin formal eviction proceedings. This is not a negotiation. His mother called that evening. I answered once and once only. She was shocked, she said, that I would threaten eviction over a tiny spill. I corrected her. Your son is an unauthorized occupant violating noise rules who damaged my property. The horrible situation began when he decided my bed was a community resource. I ended the call. Friday came. At 5:30, an email from management landed. Application incomplete, proof of income and credit authorization missing. It was a game of chicken. He was trying to occupy the space without ever qualifying for it. I drafted a notice to cure or quit using a state-approved template. I attached the management email as Exhibit A. I emailed it to him and, for good measure, printed a copy and taped it securely to the front door. Standing in the hallway of my own building, taping a legal notice to my own apartment, I didn't feel sad. I felt purposeful. When someone treats your home like a suggestion, you respond with statute. He missed the 3-day cure deadline. On the 4th day, I paid the filing fee and initiated formal eviction. The hearing was exactly what I expected and nothing like he imagined. No grand speeches, no emotional rescues, a tired mediator in a municipal building. Aaron and his mother arrived dressed for sympathy, carrying a story about love and sudden breakdowns. When it was my turn, I didn't talk about feelings. I presented data. The lease in my name, the text giving away my side of the bed, the written sublease offer, his written acceptance, management's email documenting the incomplete application, the noise complaint, the photos of the damaged bookshelf, proof of service for the notice to cure or quit. The mediator looked at Aaron. You were offered a legal path to remain, she said. You accepted it and then failed to meet basic requirements. The leaseholder is within her rights. The order granted 14 days to vacate. Juliana vanished the moment papers were served. Free accommodation evaporates when consequences arrive. Move-out day was tense. I arranged for building security to be present. I wanted witnesses and nothing else. As he carried out his last box, he whispered that I'd become a heartless monster. I'm not heartless, I replied, calm. I'm the landlord now, and you were a bad tenant. When the door finally closed, the apartment was a mess, but it was quiet. My quiet. I hired cleaners. I patched scuffs and repainted. Then I spent a full weekend restoring the bookshelf. Coarse grit to fine. Oil rubbed into the grain until the oak glowed again. The stain disappeared. A scar healed with patience and work. I deducted the cleaning and materials from the deposit and mailed him a check for the remainder with an itemized list. $87.50. Precision matters. Through the grapevine, I heard he moved back with his parents. The Grand City chapter subsidized by me was over. The revenge wasn't the eviction. It was the methodical reclamation of my life. The silence that followed was absolute, broken only by the hum of the refrigerator. My space. My terms. He wanted drama. I changed the terms of service. He couldn't afford the new price.